So you're asking, what's this? And why is it at the museum? That's a very good question, and we're going to answer it. These two stone bases, undoubtedly the heaviest artifacts in the museum's collection, are from a hotel that was located on the east side of Macomb's Courthouse Square. It was built in 1857 by William H. Randolph. He has a unique story all of his own, but we'll save that for another time. But this time we want to talk about a very important visitor to that hotel, Abraham Lincoln. In 1858, Abraham Lincoln is a candidate for the United States Senate representing the state of Illinois. The incumbent is Stephen Douglas, and the two of them agreed to hold a series of 7 debates across the state of Illinois. Lincoln is traveling with the newspaperman Joseph Medill, who recommends that they try out William Randolph's new elegant hotel in Macomb. They stay there on August 25th and again on October 12th. To better understand the issues that Lincoln and Douglas are debating in Illinois, we need to take a look at what's happening in the country in the 1850s. With the discovery of gold in California and the interest of building a transcontinental railroad, Congress is debating whether the Western territories are going to be free or slave. And it's causing a bit of a political rift. And Stephen Douglas, he's in the center of it all. In 1854, Douglas was the chairman of the Senate Committee on Territories, and he needed Southern support for a transcontinental railroad that would run from Chicago through his home state to the West Coast. That support will come at the cost of opening up the option of these Western territories to be slave states. He writes the Kansas-Nebraska Act with just 2 tenets. First, repeal the Missouri Compromise. Second, leave the issue of slavery in the Western territories to the settlers themselves. We're a democracy. Let the states hold a referendum and vote if they want to be free or slave. Douglas calls this popular sovereignty. It is this idea that Lincoln challenges Douglas on in the Freeport debates. Half of the Democratic Party, those from the North, will vote against it. This is Douglas's own party. Outrage over the act in the North firmly establishes the newly formed Republican Party as an anti-slavery coalition that will elect a president in 4 years. Another issue that Lincoln challenges Douglas on in the 1858 debates is the Dred Scott case that was decided in March of 1857. That case asked that if a slave who lived in free territory could remain or be considered free. Supreme Court Justice Taney wrote the final majority opinion in the case, which stated that all people of African descent, free or enslaved, were not United States citizens and therefore had no right to sue in federal court. In addition, he wrote that the Fifth Amendment protected slave owners' rights because enslaved workers were their legal property. The decision also argued that the Missouri Compromise legislation, passed to balance the power between slave and non-slave states, was unconstitutional. In effect, this meant that Congress had no power to prevent the spread of slavery. This decision's implications can be seen in what we today call systemic race, or as the author Isabella Wilkerson identifies, as a tool to affirm a caste system in America. It also spread fear in the North that a Southern slaveholder could bring slaves to the northern states and establish residency. While Justice Taney thought he could put an end to the question of slave or free state, it further divided Congress on their role in who and how the country will address the pressing question of slavery. Now, let's see how the Kansas-Nebraska Act and the Dred Scott case are debated by Lincoln and Douglas. In 1858, Lincoln was a rising star in the newly formed Republican Party. He was traveling with Joseph Medill, who with his partner Charles H. Ray were owners of the Chicago Press and Tribune newspaper. Both were determined to shatter Senator Douglas's presidential ambitions. To this end, the paper backed Lincoln's U.S. senatorial run against Douglas and ran in detail what was said at the debates. While in Macomb on August 26th, Lincoln crafted the question for the second debate at Freeport that he thought would reveal Douglas's lack of commitment to ensuring slavery could be established in the Western territories. The response became known as the Freeport Doctrine. So here's the question that Lincoln asked Douglas in Freeport. Can the people of a territory in any lawful way, against the wishes of any citizen of the United States, exclude slavery from their limits prior to the formation of a state constitution? Douglas responded, hence, no matter what the decision of the Supreme Court may be on that abstract question, still the right of the people to make a slave territory or a free territory is perfect and complete under the Nebraska bill. I hope Mr. Lincoln deems my answer satisfactory on that point. Douglas chooses popular sovereignty, which privileges states' rights over the Supreme Court decision. This did not sit well with Southern Democrats, who sought to have that absolute right of slave owners in the new territories. It is thought that Lincoln knew what Douglas would answer. He had responded previously in favor of his popular sovereignty idea. Lincoln took advantage of the newspaper coverage to have Douglas's answer reach a wider audience. As a political strategist, Medill is said to have told Lincoln that Douglas's answer would cost him the 1858 senatorial election. But it seems as if Lincoln understood that Douglas's answer would outrage and make him untrustworthy with those Southern Democrats, which in fact is what happened. 2 years later, as Douglas was seeking the Democratic nomination for president, the Southern delegation at the Democratic Convention walked out without giving him the nomination, instead putting forward John C. Breckinridge as their candidate. Northern Democrats did give Douglas the nomination, but the party split cost Douglas and Breckinridge the election. Abraham Lincoln became the first Republican candidate to win the presidential election, and he became the 16th President of the United States. It's a good thing these pillar bases are so heavy. They are a part of some pretty weighty history. Lincoln's question to Douglas, written at the Randolph House Hotel in Macomb, is an example of his lifetime work to find solutions to hard issues the country faced. It's good to revisit these details, to look at the cause and effects of slavery in our country. They no doubt can inform and help us understand the effect our country's enslavement of people continues to have today. They are a call to action for us to work, like Lincoln, to find a solution to social injustices that remain in the United States today.